Deathstroke betrayed the Suicide Squad, but now he's gonna need their help. Let's see how this works out. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Now, at the end of our last video, Slade fought against a Titan, and after finally managing to defeat him, he found out that the god who hired him, Hephaestus, forgot to mention that there would be a blood sacrifice due to the fact that he killed the Titan. So rather than offer his life, Slade ripped his right eye out and presented it to the Pantheon. Belle Reve Prison is home to some of the most dangerous supercriminals and metahumans that the world has ever known. Escaping from Belle Reve isn't a very easy task, and for Slade Wilson, he's doing the opposite. However, our story doesn't begin with Slade breaking into prison. It begins 36 hours before. After his job with the Pantheon and making quite a small fortune, Slade went back to training on Danger Island. There, his host and the leader of the Dead Bastards, Victor, informs him that there has been some activity at his daughter Rose's house. So the two of them head over to the control room, and Slade watches a video feed of an attack at Rose's home. Within hours, Slade rushes over to the destroyed home and finds Rose's body laying on the ground. As he turns the body over, a wig falls off of the girl, revealing that it wasn't Rose. However, there's a note written on the young girl's shirt stating, "We had a deal, Waller. Ring a bell?" Looking at the note, Slade can think of only one person who would have set this up: Harley Quinn. Which now brings us back to our current time. As Slade is getting closer to the prison building, he sets up a bomb in a duffel bag and tosses it before opening his parachute. Just before the bag hits the roof, it detonates a giant EMP shockwave over the building, stopping any incoming and outgoing communications. However, the EMP didn't just stop those, it also unlocked the electrical locks holding all of the inmates in their cells. All of the inmates rush out, beating whatever guards they can get their hands on. All the while, Harley skips through the fight. As she sings to herself, Slade's hand reaches out and grabs her into the shadows. He slams her up against a wall and tells her, "I got your message about Waller, so where's my daughter?" Harley tells him, "Well, yeah, you did promise, remember?" Tightening his grip, Slade tells her that he can promise one thing: she'd better start talking or else. Harley shouts, "Fine, Mr. Crankpants, kill Waller like you promised, and I'll tell you where you can find Rose." As Harley holds out her hand to pinky swear, she crosses her fingers behind her back. The two begin to make their way to Amanda's office, killing everyone in their way. However, as the last inmate falls, Deadshot tells Slade that he's been dying to run into him ever since Russia, when he betrayed him. Over in Amanda's office, Amanda begins to get ready to evacuate her and her guards, and she hears a voice from the shadows calling to them. She tells Pruitt that he needs to get back to his cell before he gets hurt, and Pruitt tells them that he has a better idea, and two tendrils shoot out, killing the guards. Just then, another tendril shoots out, sticking to Amanda, and she slowly begins to lose consciousness. Back with Slade, Deadshot jumps out, beating him, while Harley shouts, "Fun, fun, fun, fight, fight, fight!" Slade and Deadshot start kicking and punching each other back and forth until Slade says, "Look, I'm just here trying to find my daughter." Deadshot stops for a moment, and Slade goes on stating, "Waller abducted her 36 hours ago and Harley left me a message." Deadshot thinks about it and says, "Harley was here 36 hours ago. Sounds like someone is playing you." From the water tanks down below, a wire shoots out, grabbing and pulling Slade down. Underwater, Black Manta pulls out a knife and tells him, "It's payback time." As the two of them begin to struggle, Manta starts cutting into Slade. But as soon as Slade manages to throw Manta off, he begins trying to figure out how he can fight against Manta on his own turf. Manta kicks off the wall and he swims towards Slade, and just then, Slade has an idea. Using the force of Manta's kick, Slade uses his feet to kick Manta upwards and throw him out of the water. After Slade jumps out, the two of them get ready to fight again, but Deadshot says Slade is here for his daughter. And Manta tells him that his daughter means nothing to him, and he cuts at Slade's shoulder. As the two of them go back at it, Harley notices a tink, tink, tink on the ground and asks if anyone ordered a stun grenade. The grenade goes off with a bright flash, and the guards run in, firing their guns. Slade grabs a hold of Harley while the guards take Deadshot into custody, and they begin their escape. Once they get away, Harley points over to where Waller's office is and says that it looks like we're not the only ones who want Waller dead. Slade jumps towards the inmates and opens fire on them, while Harley beats all of the others with a bat until everyone is finally dead. As Slade looks into Waller's office, he sees two dead guards, and Harley says that it looks like that Pruitt guy that calls himself Snakebite got here already. Suddenly, the sounds of a helicopter begin to fill the air, and the radio announces that government forces are here to re-establish order. All resistance will be met with lethal force. The government soldiers rush in, opening fire on all of the inmates, and then a voice tells Slade, "What did I tell you?" Slade and Harley turn back, and Selena Kyle goes on stating, "You never want to stay at a party for too long." Selena joins in with Slade and Harley to fight off the guards, and Harley begins to ask, "Are you two like an fight him or something? Selina says that it's strictly business, and Harley tells her that she better be careful hanging out with Deathstroke. You might end up in this crap hole. Once they're done with the soldier, Slade says, tell me about this snakebite guy. And after throwing up in her mouth just thinking about him, Harley tells him that he's got these snaky things that can shoot out of him with stingers on the ends of them. Waller couldn't use him for the squad because he's too unstable, and before she could figure out what to do with him, you kinda showed up. Just then, over one of the guards' radios, Snakebite sends out a message to the government forces demanding a helicopter or Waller will die. Slade tells everyone, let's go. Selina tells Slade that she's not down with this plan. When he hired her, he was not signing her up for suicide missions. But before she leaves, she will buy them sometime. As Selina runs back, Harley calls her a party pooper, and her and Slade begin opening fire on the oncoming soldiers. Once Slade and Harley get to the administration center where Snakebite's broadcast came from, they find nothing. Slade tells Harley to drop her gun and tell him where Rose is now, or I'm gonna shoot you in the face. Harley drops her shotgun, stating, fine, I lied. When you told me about your missing daughter, I just played along with it. Can you really blame me? Before Slade can even respond to that, the wall explodes and more inmates rush in shouting, give them Waller. Slade then says, how about I give you this? And he starts shooting them all. The dust settles and Slade looks around to find Harley. And she tells him, I'm over here with Snakebite. Without even questioning her, Slade tells Snakebite, we should come to an arrangement. I need information from Waller and I can pay. Harley says this is boring and she elbows Snakebite. Snakebite tosses her to the side and jumps after Slade, telling him, I don't have to answer to you. I have a higher calling. Snakebite shoots out his tendrils, and when they get in range, Slade just cuts them off and lunges back in. His sword pierces into Snakebite's chest, and then another tendril shoots into Slade's neck. After slicing off that tendril, Slade kicks Snakebite out from the explosion the inmates made. He then turns back to Waller and he asks, where the hell is my daughter? She tells him since he'll either be dead or captured in a few moments, she may as well be honest. She has zero to do with Rose's disappearance, nor does she have any knowledge of who did it. But whoever it was, they do have impressive resources. Could also be the man that Snakebite was referring to. Soon the poison starts to take effect inside of Slade, and then a smoke grenade goes off. Slade manages to throw himself out of the building, and shortly after, he's picked up by Selina. Elsewhere though, a man looks at the picture of the dead woman from before, and Rose. A voice says that she was her friend, and the man says, she was about to betray you, Rose. The man then asks, how did you know Harley wanted your father to kill Waller? Rose tells him that her brother Jericho saw things inside of Harley during their battle at Gotham Airport. The man then says, it was just the shiny object that we needed to distract Deathstroke, and now we will break him, and Deathstroke will die. And that concludes half of Deathstroke Volume 3. Just like all the other storylines, we're continuing the search for Deathstroke in his attempts to fix his family, which does lead into Rebirth. So let me know down below what you think about the Deathstroke character and these storylines in which he basically just goes across the DC universe, beating up a ton of people. I personally do enjoy them, but it's not everyone's cup of tea on this character. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.